Well, I'm Pierre Reeves. I'm from College Park, Georgia. I'm home.
Tell us what you do in your everyday job.
I don't even consider it a job because technically I would be doing what I'm doing for free. But I'm in residential, commercial, real estate. I also dabble in some investments as well.
All right. And as a real estate agent around the city of Atlanta, I know that you're in another market as Charlotte, but can you talk about in the city of Atlanta what you're seeing as far as gentrification is concerned?
Well, what's sad about it is I'm seeing a lot of second, third generation homes in the Black community being sold off to people that necessarily didn't like the second and third generation before it. It's something that has slowed down quite a bit. We still, I think, at the point now where people understand the values in some of the homes that's been left behind for them, and they're not as easy to sell it as much as they have done before in the past. So I do believe gentrification is slowing down a little bit. What I do see is they're changing and moving into other areas in other cities. Just kind of give you another thing, I heard someone telling me the other day about some hot new area in Mosley Park, and I was like, what is Mosley Park? But she was basically saying Mosley Park, and it kind of took me by surprise.
Right. So the fact that these people are finding, you know, these same areas that we know of,
Absolutely.
but renaming them or, saying them a different way is making it seem as if the people that are moving in are moving into new spaces.
Absolutely. That's a trend that's happening right now, and it's something that can change. Will it change? We'll yet to see.
Right, and one of the reasons we brought you in is because you're one of the few real estate agents that we've seen online share the difference in what it looks like for someone to purchase residential and commercial properties, as well as looking at the development side of things. So just talk about like your experience in dealing with those things.
Right now, given the fact that Atlanta is such a progressive city, it's looked at as a beacon for Black people, but we don't have a whole lot of Black major builders when it comes to new construction homes. We're looking at D.R. Horton, we look at a number of the major names, although we may have representation within the listing agent, but most of the time we don't necessarily own the company. It's a lot of amazing custom Black builders out here, but we don't have our own communities as of right now.
Now, how do we get more Black builders, more Black developers, and more people to team together to kind of create these spaces and communities?
That's a great question. Honestly, I believe it starts with the funding. Honestly, it's not a skill set thing. Majority of the builders are the contractors work for both parties. I think it's more of a situation of just getting the funding. It's hard to develop a community that may have 600 homes, and because majority of the custom builders have to build out 1 or 2 homes at a time, finance those, sell those, build another 2 at a time. When you go to some of the major builders, they can build 40, 50 homes all at one particular time, get those financed and sold out, and continue to move throughout the community.
Now, what's a block that you see with anyone that's trying to purchase land or properties or to get a fixer-upper in dealing with like financing as well as getting loans to purchase these things?
A lot of people just don't have, how can I say this? They don't understand who to go through in order to get the information. So it's a lack of knowledge of connecting the dots for a lot of people, because be honest with you, a lot of people in Atlanta have the ability to do a lot of different things that they don't realize that they have, but they just don't have the person that they can contact, the lender that can give them the okay to put the battery in their back, the agent that can tell them that, hey, you can build a multifamily unit. You do have a possibility where you can put 10 or 15% down in order to make this work. You can take equity out of this home and utilize this to build your dream home. So it's just the lack of knowledge piece that we're trying to connect. But I mean, right now it's a lot of people doing a lot of great things that's kind of putting people on a lot of game.
Now, for our out-of-town developers that are coming here and setting this new wave of how you can purchase a house or how you can rent a house and it not be leased to own, can you talk about that issue? Because I know one of your latest posts was, can we talk about this? So we're giving you the platform
Absolutely.
to talk about it. So share something with that.
So we have a new trend right now where, we have investors coming in from New York, LA, that's coming out here and building communities. And that's not necessarily different from what we've seen in the past, but what's unique about this particular situation is they're building these new construction home communities and making sure that they're rental only, with no option to actually buy at all. And it's a situation where they're coming in and building 200 to 300 homes in one particular community in different counties and giving people the illusion that they have their home and they're living the American dream of actually having a home ownership when truthfully they don't. They charging them an exorbitant amount of deposits that they would necessarily put down. And then when you look at the minimum rental prices that they have, most of the time it's $200 to $300 more than the average.
Now, have you had any experience with some of the tiny homes and the developments that have been happening recently with that?
What's unique about that, right now where we are is a couple of black builders that actually have a community they're building on Old National and Godby Road. And that's my stomping ground. That's where I grew up. And to see tiny homes, not too far from the apartments in which I grew up in, is sort of refreshing. And given the fact that it's financed and operated contractors are running it, and they're going to be smaller homes from what I've been able to see.
Now, is there anything else you would like to share about the real estate industry here in the city of Atlanta?
The major thing that I just wanted to share is just, interest rates are rising. It's a lot of people out here that are waiting for a recession to happen, expecting for that to happen. But I just want to kind of tell people, like, it's more likely not going to happen. Atlanta is still seem to be a bargain compared to other major markets. When we look at our counterparts in LA, New York, DC, we're always looked at as the cheaper option. So with that being stated, just because homes are selling for more than you can ever recall, doesn't mean that it's not necessarily a good time for you to go in and purchase, because it's people that purchased last year that are up $50,000 to $60,000 in equity this year, when at the time when they purchased last year, they was probably overpaying $30,000 to $40,000. So just knowing how these numbers work, we are at a bargain. It's still a good time to purchase. Yes, interest rates are rising, but we are nowhere close to our ceiling. So even if it's a market correction in other places, I think we're still going to be looked at as a cheaper option.
Now, where can people find you online?
You can find me online at Show Sales, SHOWSELLS, on Instagram, on Twitter. Pretty much the handle stays the same. You can also find me on Old National on Saturdays or Sundays, or you can find me at Fellowship on Friday nights. I'm always in the city. I'm in the streets like the lines in the road.